The Los Angeles Clippers are 14-16 in their last 16 games, and the only two losses during that span were to the Boston Celtics and the Oklahoma City Thunder. The other common denominator with that is in those two losses, those were the only two games all season Kawhi Leonard has missed. Needless to say, the Clippers are rolling and their team is gelling. Today we're going to be talking about how I think the Los Angeles Clippers are finals bound. At the very end of this video, I'm going to take a minute to talk about men's mental health and describe a little bit why I haven't been posting as frequently following what's been going on with my personal life and my health situation. I love each and every one of you very much. If you don't stick around for that portion, I totally understand. It's not really for everyone to want to listen or talk about, but the good news is starting right now, we will just be talking about Clippers basketball. So out west, the Clippers have emerged as the 4 seed, and they're just a few games behind that 3 seed. It's very interesting the kind of dilemma we have on our hands in the NBA. In the Eastern Conference, it's very simple. The Bucks, the Celtics, and the 76ers are clearly your favorites to win. Yeah, you have the Orlando Magic that have, been good, and the Miami Heat can always sneak up and be good and, make runs. But for the most part, it's very, the same. In the Western Conference, we have the Timberwolves, Thunder, Nuggets, Clippers, Kings, Mavericks, Suns, Lakers, and possibly you could argue the Warriors or Pelicans could make a run in the postseason. Out of all of those teams, though, there's one, in my opinion, that just stands out, and it's the Los Angeles Clippers. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they are great. They have a great backcourt. Chet Holmgren's been amazing, but I think they lack a center that would be able to compete with Karl Anthony Towns or compete with Nikola Jokic or Rudy Gobert or even Domantas Sabonis. They do lack that, and you could argue the Clippers lack that as well. Daniel Tyson, Mason Plumlee, and Ivica Zubac, they're all great centers, but none of them are, over the top. And then for Denver, I obviously do believe that the Denver Nuggets are probably the favorites out west. The Phoenix Suns are really just a wild card. And then for the Minnesota Timberwolves, they could make a run, depending on their matchup, they could make a deep run. But when it boils down to it, the Los Angeles Clippers just play great winning basketball, which is funny because for James Harden and Russell Westbrook, a majority of their career, that has been the opposite. We've heard nothing but you can't win with the way they play, this, that, and the other. But if the season ended today and the Clippers and Kings matched up, De'Aaron Fox, I might like that matchup over James Harden. You guys can decide. But I like PG over Huerter or Monk. I like Kawhi Leonard over whoever they have. Keegan Murray maybe is playing the 3. Russell Westbrook off the bench. I love everything about this Clippers team, and what I love the most about it is that they have experience. They have experience winning NBA playoff games, and maybe not all of them have the big finals experience that you would want, but out west, it's very open for experience. It's anyone's game. I mean, outside of the Denver Nuggets, who just won the NBA Finals, the Timberwolves, Thunders, Kings, and Mavericks have won really nothing. The Mavericks, I guess, are the exception, and I'm just listing the top 6 teams here. The Mavericks are somewhat of an exception because Kyrie Irving is an NBA champion, and then with Luka Doncic and most of that roster, they ended up coming back and making the Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Suns, and then they played the Warriors in the finals, and then they got smacked in 5. But regardless, experience is experience. When you look at this Clippers team, Paul George has tons of playoff experience in the Eastern Conference versus LeBron in his prime in Miami and Indiana. Then Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time Finals MVP with 2 different organizations, and he's also the youngest Finals MVP. James Harden was 1 game away from making the NBA Finals and defeating the Kevin Durant-led Warriors, which some people argue is the greatest team ever. Russell Westbrook has made the NBA Finals with the Thunder, and he's also went toe-to-toe with that Warriors team a couple different times. And then PJ Tucker, I know he doesn't really play, but he's an NBA champion. Terrence Mann has some decent notable playoff experience from the bubble. And Norman Powell is just a very savvy and experienced vet. This team is insanely good on paper, and they have all the intangible tools. They have the players, the will. Tyronn Lue is an amazing head coach. They've been the laughing stock, my apologies, of the NBA for so long that it's honestly playing in their favor, because even though they're doing well, we're still not hearing much about it. So there's no overlying or overbearing pressure. Basically, the contingency, and I guess you could say this is with all NBA franchises that are led like this, the big thing is if they stay healthy or not. As I mentioned, Kawhi Leonard has only missed 2 games this season, and that would, if that persists, it's going to be just really, really tough to stop this team. I mean, I feel as if when the playoffs come around, people will remember, but there really can't be enough good things said about Kawhi Leonard and said about, his determination to win, his offensive and defensive ability, just being that two-way player that he is. And then for me, the most important part of his game is just the mid-range, how he's completely automatic, very robotic in the mid-range, just doing the same thing every single time, getting you those timely baskets in playoff situations where you can't even, wish for a bucket. But Kawhi is just so cool and calm and collected. I'm really proud to see what Paul George and James Harden have grown to be. Very, very versatile scorers, but they still played solid. James, not so much. But for Paul, they still play very solid defense. They move very well off the ball. James Harden's a monster facilitator. Paul George has really stepped into his own as just a bucket getter. We hear all the time that NBA players say that, Paul George is like the perfect build. He's 6'10" and can put the ball on the ground and do literally virtually anything on a basketball court. But this is just going to be me rambling at this point. Do you guys think the Clippers can make the NBA Finals or the Western Conference Finals? And if so, do you think they can win? Let me know in the comments below. Just real quick, like I said at the beginning, I want to just take a minute to talk about men's mental health. It's a new year and it can be very overwhelming and stressful, guys. The start of this new year, I was told I had the C19. I recovered from that, and then my partner and I split up and they ended up moving out. Her and I had been together for a long time, very long time, in my life, and it's been hard. It's hard for me to get out of bed sometimes. It's hard for me to get up and talk and make these videos and talk to you guys. It's hard for me to interact with my family or my friends or even with myself. But I just want you guys to know that no matter what happens at the end of the day, whether you're a man or a woman, you are loved, whether that's by the Lord, if you believe in that, or by yourself or by your family, you are loved. And even if you feel like you don't have anyone, you can always reach out to me on Twitter DMs. Take it from a guy who feels legitimately depressed right now as we speak. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. You guys just gotta understand, you will get through this. And it might be hard right now. It might be scary, whatever you're going through. But uneasy and distress, it's what molds a good man. Like, a good man gets down, an even better man gets back up. And there's no rush for you to get up. There's no rush for you to keep moving. But you gotta take it a day at a time and not worry so much about what's gonna happen in the future or how things are gonna turn up. And I should be taking my own advice, but I just love you guys to care about you and want you all to know that seasonal depression is a real thing. And when outside or external factors like what's going on with me are happening, or maybe for you guys, you got family that's getting sick, or maybe stuff at school isn't going well, you just need to talk to people, build a support system, let it out, understand that your emotions are, they're validated. But I could talk about this forever. So my DMs on Twitter are always open, guys. You just send me a DM. I will answer. We can talk for as long as you need to. My Twitter is or I guess my X is in the description. But I love you guys, and I hope you all have a great, rest of your night and week. And yeah, peace.